Okay, so Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to today's session, today's meditation session, and today's topic is flow. And flow, it means the natural stream. We know about any river or any or wind when it blows naturally, it is called flow. And by flow here we actually mean that our life is natural, we are natural beings, but we have learned to do, to make efforts to do something better or to be someone better or to improve ourselves or to change ourselves. But this whole notion is an illusion, because we cannot actually change ourselves, we cannot improve ourselves, or we cannot actually transform our lives through our own will. And of course this thought is counterintuitive, because we have been taught to think in the opposite way, just always to improve ourselves, always to control our evil traits or so on. But this is human error, it is the error of our human brains, and we cannot help it because we were not our own creators, so we couldn't change it in a way which we want to be. So we always look for perfection, we always want to be someone who is the purest form of our own, and spiritually we want to be divine. But the whole thing is that if we want to be holy, that is spiritual, that is enlightened, we need to be whole, that is WHOLE, that is complete. And how we become complete? We become complete only by accepting all our traits together, because we know that a moon has its bright sides and dark sides, and everyone is like this. And if we only focus on the good thing in ourselves and try to nourish them, try to culture them, and try to avoid or control our bad traits, so-called bad traits, then it would lead us to nowhere. It would create ever living dissatisfaction in us, and we will never get any kind of solace or any kind of eternal spiritual feelings. So to be on that stage, on that state, we need to take the example from nature. And in nature we find there are some dandelions or some flower seeds. They are very tiny and they just flow in the wind. So this kind of seeds, in Bangla there are some example, Shimul Tula, and in Bangla we have kind of cotton seed, and they are also like very fluffy and not so much fluffy, but they are very light, and they just like birds, they just flow in the wind. And how they move naturally using the natural flow. But we have learned to make plans, which is just absurd. We can never make plans and we can never execute them, because life doesn't go along with our own plans. So making plans itself is a hoax, it's an illusion, it's a great blunder, or something wrong we have learned throughout our life. So what would happen in the future we do not know, and it is impossible to know, because life will always be unpredictable and uncertain. And when there is unpredictability and uncertainty, that is the real thrill of life. Otherwise it would not be life at all, because if there is a piece of stone, we can predict that it would remain the same until in course of time it decays. But a living being is not like that. Living means it will die eventually. It must die if it is a living being. So change is obvious, inevitable. So we always evolve, but we do not know how we would evolve, and it is very unpredictable, and that is the flow. If we just go with the flow, just think of our present moment. Okay, now what we are doing? We are just breathing, we are listening, I am talking, and many thoughts are coming in our minds, and sometimes we are trying to expel them, trying to avoid them, and sometimes we just go along with them, and it's okay. So everything is natural. So whatever thoughts come to our mind, they are also natural. So we can start our meditation session through breathing exercise, and and today we will make the breathing exercise even easier, more simple, in a very simpler form. And there we will not even count our breaths, because earlier in our earlier sessions we have learned to count our breaths, but now we will not count them. Instead, we will just focus on our breathing. So we can just close our eyes and just focus on our breathing, how air is moving through our nose and rushing into our lungs, and how it is coming out from our lungs through our nose. We just focus on our natural breathing, and we can just try to be straight. If we are sitting, it would help us not to get asleep. Just focus on our breath. If we continue focusing on our breathing, this is itself meditation, because we are concentrated on something. When we concentrate on something, that is meditation. And if something happens around us, that is also part of that meditation. That is not distraction, because distraction itself is an illusion, because everything is natural, so we cannot go beyond nature. And what we think to be distraction, actually it is part of the natural rhythm, because in music there are many orchestration, there are many instruments, and so many notes, different kind of notes and tempo, and so the so-called distractions are also part of that music. Again, breathing exercise, we just focus on our breath, how we are breathing in and how the breath is going out. And let it keep quite natural. Not try to change our pattern or rhythm of breathing. So we were talking about flow. What is flow at this moment? We are sitting here and we are breathing, and at this moment actually there is not much to do. we are almost inactive, at least physically, but we have thoughts in our minds. That is okay. That is the flow. We seem to be stationary, we seem to be fixed, but actually we are in the flow of nature. So this is the flow, and we don't need to think of our future, we don't need to make big plans, because it would come to us eventually and quite naturally. They will unfold. The future will unfold to us spontaneously. We don't need to rush on. We then don't need to force the flower to bloom. Just focus on our breathing, natural breathing. Breathe in and breathe out, how it is going naturally. And whatever happens, that is natural. Whatever happens, that is the flow. Whatever I do, that is my deeds, my doings with the flow. We are always in the flow. We cannot go out of it. And if we think we are not in the flow, that is also an illusion. So we cannot go out of the flow. Focus on our breathing. Focus on our breathing. Let it happen naturally. And no worries if there is a phone ringing. It's okay. If it is an essential call, everyone can take it, no problem. Because we cannot force anything. And if we embrace whatever happening, that is going with the flow, not to resist too much. But if we resist, that is also part of the flow. Sometimes it is counterintuitive, and many people thinks it wrongly, that they say that okay, you should go along with the flow. That means that is also something we are trying to impose. That is, we are forcing ourselves to go with the flow, but that shouldn't be like this. If I am not along with the flow, if I am in a chaos, if my mind is upset or unsettled or excited or whatever, or I am feeling angry, that is also part of the flow. Because in nature always not there is the gentle breeze, sometimes there are storms, sometimes there are gusts. So these are all natural patterns. So these are all lovely, these are all loving, these are all beautiful. So even our resistance against flow itself is part of the flow. Again, focus on our breathing, our own natural breathing, in their own natural rhythm. And we just surrender ourselves, whatever happening with us, within us, whatever thoughts coming in us, whatever non-relaxation, that is excitation, or whatever agitation in us, we have to embrace them. We have to embrace everything. It could be calmness, it could be serenity, or it could be chaos, whatever happens. Focusing on our own breathing. And for few moments we will do an exercise. The exercise is very simple. Before in front of us, or in our near future, we might have something, some schedule, some exams, it could be anything. But now, just for few moments, we just think that there is nothing beyond the present moment, there is nothing in the future. The future is blank, because whatever going to happen in the future, in our assumption, it is not obvious, because we are not sure that it would happen, because there might be a natural disaster. Even I could die before something coming to me in future. So for some moments we just keep everything out from our life for the future. So there is nothing in the future. We are just moving in the flow, just like flowing in the wind, and just wandering, and we do not know where we will be moved, where the wind will lead us. We do not know. So just imagine there is nothing waiting for us in the future. We are just wandering, we are just floating. Focusing on our breathing. And there is nothing to bother us, because we do not have any pressure for future to achieve something or to get to somewhere. And whatever would happen is welcoming to us, because that is the nature, and nature was meant to unfold that way. So that would happen to me. So embrace whatever comes to us. Focusing on our breathing. And whatever thoughts, whatever unplanned thoughts or unintended thoughts come into our minds, they should be welcome, because they are also part of nature, part of my existence. So they are like my children, like the parts of my body. Focusing on our breathing, in our own natural rhythm, or whatever is the present rhythm. So we can feel the thrill of not knowing what is coming. It could be disaster, it could be something good, but our brain always want good, which is an illusion, because if we want to be whole or complete, there should be good things along with bad things, and we do not know what the bad things is waiting for us. In the same way, we do not know what are the good things waiting for us. So life is a very interesting journey because we do not know. Again, focusing on our breath, how we take the wind, air, and how it is expelled naturally. And actually, it is a great relief when we just stop expecting what we were expecting to happen in our future, in our near future, or even distant future. So life becomes more playful, like the play of kids, like a play of infants, because they are not waiting for something. They are playing on their own. They are just engaged, immersed in their thoughts, in their imaginary play. The same way, we are just playfully, we are engaged in this thought experiment. So this is entertaining because we don't have to think about the future, because we do not know. Really, we do not know. Whatever our expectation, whatever our plans, we know in the deepest core of our minds that it is there. These are all uncertain. Nobody can guarantee anything. Again, focusing on our breathing. We do not know, and this is flow. And now we are at the end of our meditation session today, and now we can open our eyes. So now we are leaving from our Facebook live session. So goodbye everyone. Hope to see you the next week.